Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to tackle one of the trickiest but most fascinating parts of the Japanese language, the verbs for giving and receiving. Now, on the surface, this sounds pretty simple, right? But what you're about to see is that it's actually a hidden map for navigating social relationships.
So, let's kick things off with a little puzzle. In English, it's easy. I give my friend a book, my friend gives me a book. We use the exact same verb, give. Simple. But in Japanese, you actually have to change the verb depending on who's giving and who's receiving. So, what's going on there?
Well, that one simple English verb splinters into a few different options in Japanese. And here's the secret. The key is not to just memorize a bunch of complicated rules. No, it's all about understanding one single powerful idea, the direction of the action and where you are in relation to it.
And the tool we're going to use to get this right every single time is something we're going to call the social compass. Think of it as a mental model that will help you navigate these social situations perfectly.
Okay, so here's our map, and honestly, it all comes down to just two circles. That inner circle, that's you and your in-group, your family, your closest connections. The outer circle is basically everyone else. The verb you pick simply depends on which way the action flows across that boundary.
Let's start with our first direction on the compass. What happens when you're giving something outward?
Here it is, our first rule in action. When you, or someone from your inner circle, gives something to a person in that outer circle, the action is flowing away from you. And for that outward movement, you use the verb agemasu, agemasu.
So look at how the sentence is put together. I, the giver, I'm at the very center of my in-group. My friend, the receiver, is in the out-group. Because that book is moving outward, from my circle to theirs, the verb has to be agemasu. It's like a little arrow in the word itself, pointing away from you.
Now let's flip the compass around. What happens when the gift is coming towards you?
See? Now the arrow is totally reversed. The action is flowing from the outside world into your inner circle. For this inward direction, we need a whole different verb, kuremasu.
Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, my mother is part of my in-group. And you're right, she is. But grammatically, the action here is coming to me, the speaker, and I'm at the dead center of this map. So because that dictionary is moving inward towards me, the verb has to be kuremasu. It automatically tells you that I'm the one who benefited from the action.
All right, we've covered outward and inward. Now for our last core verb. And this one changes the game. It's not about direction anymore. It's all about perspective. This is where we shift our focus entirely. Instead of talking about the act of giving, we're now going to talk about the act of receiving. When you use the verb moraimasu, you are putting the spotlight directly on the person who got the thing, making them the star of the sentence.
Check out this example. The sentence starts with watashi wa. The focus isn't on what my friend did, their act of giving. It's on my experience of getting the flowers. Moraimasu basically puts the receiver in the driver's seat of the whole sentence. And this, right here, is where it all clicks. One single event, Ken giving Mary an apple, can be told in three totally different ways. Our social compass lets us shift the whole perspective of the story. So if we want to focus on Ken, the giver, we use agemasu. If we want to highlight Mary, the receiver, we make her the subject of the sentence and use moraimasu. And if we're telling the story from Mary's point of view, where the apple is coming to her, we use kuremasu. It's the same apple, the same event, but the verb you choose completely changes who the story is about.
Oh, and there's one little special case we should probably mention. The verb yarimasu is also for giving outward, just like agemasu, but it's used when you're giving to something or someone of a, let's say, different or lower status, like feeding your dog or watering a plant. Honestly, when you're talking about people, it's almost always safer just to stick with agemasu.
So here it is, your social compass cheat sheet, all in one handy chart. You've got agemasu for outward actions, kuremasu for inward actions, and moraimasu for when you want to put the focus on the receiver.
Okay, ready to test your compass? Take a look at these three sentences. For each one, just think about the direction of the action, or the focus of the sentence. Which verb do you think fits in the blank?
Let's see how you did. Number 1, I give money to my younger brother. That's an outward action, so it's got to be agemasu. Number 2, my friend gives a cake to me. That's an inward action, right? So kuremasu. And number 3, I receive good advice. The focus is on I receive, so it's moraimoshita. See? It all maps perfectly back to our compass.
And here is the real takeaway. It all just boils down to two simple questions. First, what's the direction of the action? Is it inward or outward? And second, who's the focus of the sense, the giver or the receiver? If you can answer those two questions, you will pick the right verb every single time.
Which leaves us with a pretty cool final thought. We started with a simple verb, to give, and we ended up with a whole social compass. It really makes you wonder, what other parts of language aren't just words? What else is secretly a map that helps us understand an entire culture?